Rise of Kingdoms is a very old game, and over the years, Lilith's main goal has pretty much been to improve the game and also to make money. But when we talk about improving the game, it means adding new features into the game. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the 10 most useless and most unused features in the game. They're not good, they're not bad, they're just in between. They're just useless and no one cares about them. So if you want to know about 10 things inside of Rise of Kingdoms that I'm sure you've seen and thought, why do these exist? And some things which you've never ever seen before, trust me, you want to stick around till the end of the video. Now, this list isn't going to really be in a particular order. I mean, some things obviously are going to be a little bit more useless than others. I will talk about those. But we'll start off coming in at rank 10. We have the daily cap on the legendary chest. When you go to legendary chest, you'll notice everything here is fine and dandy. Everything looks pretty normal. And then you notice today's chances is capped at 2,000. And that is quite confusing. A lot of people would think, why is that really there? And I personally do think the same thing, because if you did really want to max a commander from buying legendary keys, which are 2,000 gems a pop, it's something like $20,000 per commander, and realistically, no one is really going to do that, and if they were going to do that, they're going to buy the commander pretty much anyway, in every other way possible. So this daily cap on the amount of chests you can open is like really, really strange. I guess it's to limit the exchange shop, but once again, realistically, 40 gold heads is quite easy to come by when you're spending 20 grand on the game, and a bunch of this other stuff here you could literally get infinite of, it doesn't even matter. So this limit kind of makes no sense, and it is a fairly useless feature. Coming in at number 9 on the useless features, we have the builder recruitment. A lot of people would say this is useful in the early game, and I guess I can agree to that. But after like day 3 of playing the game, you don't need this. I mean, you get the builder, the second builder for your base at VIP 6, which is really, really early on. It's like, I think 15,000 points, something really low. And you can realistically, if you're a fairly active player, get this within a day or two. And as a newer player into the game, you're going to get like 1 or 2 builder recruitments for free if you're in a brand new kingdom. And other than that, they can only be used to exchange for like, I think it's a 15-minute speed up or something really small. So builder recruitments really aren't useful. I mean, after the first day or two of playing the game, you don't need them. You have that second builder, which you can get definitely free to play quite easily. And also you should keep in mind that as an endgame player, you can only exchange them for a speed up. You can't get a third builder or anything. So builder recruitments definitely are a very strange thing. I guess they were added to be like an early game thing, because like VIP 6 was supposed to be like an achievement. But I mean, VIP 6, even when the game first came out, wasn't too hard to reach. If the second builder was like VIP 10, which I'm sure no one really wants, this would definitely be a more useful feature. But at the moment, it's kind of useless, and I don't even know why they sell it in the shop, because I'm pretty sure no one has ever bought a single builder recruitment on like their main account. Maybe for a farm account they don't play at all, but a main account never really is going to buy a single builder recruitment. Now the next useless feature, number 8 on this list, is just going to be the Hannibal Barker relic, and I feel like it deserves its own spot on the list rather than just saying some of the relics are bad, because Hannibal Barker himself is just downright really, really difficult to get, and then once again, he's just absolute garbage. To get Hannibal Barker, I think you have to spend around $500 US, something really like stupid, the amount of money you have to spend, and you can only even unlock him at VIP 10. It's actually probably around it's more than $300 US. So Hannibal Barker is definitely an expensive commander, and he kind of sucks. I mean, when you look at Hannibal Barker's kit, there's nothing going on in there that is like strong in any way at all besides KVK 1, and you can't even get relics in KVK 1. So Hannibal Barker, who's meant to be a leadership rally, is completely useless past KVK 1, and on top of that, he is also still useless once you get his relic. His relic pretty much adds nothing to his kit. I don't think a single person would have really bought this relic and probably been happy with it at all. So Hannibal Barker's relic is pretty much useless, I'd say. If this was troop health, then it'd definitely be quite strong, but a normal damage reduction, even though that's okay against smite, is average. With the 40% troop attack, I mean, really, you're kind of getting nothing out of this relic. So Hannibal Barker's relic is certainly worthy of its own place on this list. It's probably even worse than Charlemagne's relic, because at least when we look at Charlemagne's relic, which I might have bought as a joke, no I haven't. When we look at Charlemagne's relic though, it is slightly higher value because he's getting active skill damage out of it, and he's also getting 50% troop attack. So even Charlemagne, a commander who you can get technically for free, I wouldn't recommend it, but you can get him for free, is better with his relic than Hannibal Barker would be. So Hannibal Barker's relic definitely worthy of pretty much its own spot in this list, being pretty much absolutely useless. Coming in at number 7 are two different KVK formats, one that isn't in the game anymore but was created, and the second one still is in the game, and this is Desert Conquest. As you can see, there is literally no one participating in Desert Conquest. Every time I click this, nothing's going to show up, whereas every other KVK format pretty much has some number of kingdoms in there, except I think not even Tides of the War. So pretty much every single KVK has got people playing in it except Desert Conquest. And that's because Desert Conquest is a really boring KVK. The way it works is you pretty much have to go around and capture structures, and you walk really slow, and it's just lots of marching, and it's just not very fun. So you'll notice whenever Desert Conquest comes around, pretty much 1 or 2 kingdoms might register for it, maybe if they're forced to register, but no one really goes out of their way to sign up for a Desert Conquest because of how boring the KVK actually is. And Lilith obviously can see that. They're not really pushing the Desert Conquest at all. And after it had come out initially, it's kind of like died off. I think when it first came out, there were a few people who thought we'll give it a try. But after that, it was pretty much boring. And the other KVK format, only the OGs will remember this. March of the Ages, when it first came out, was an absolute flop, and once again was a waste of time. They tried to add a bunch of new features like walking across the whole entire map and putting your troops into storage things, and it was very weird how March of the Ages worked, and once again, that was a fairly useless KVK. No kingdoms played it after the first round of KVKs. It was pretty much dead, and I'm pretty sure most people who played Desert Conquest can agree it wasn't very fun, especially there was actually this exploit to allow you to run at like 800% march speed, but other than that, the KVK itself just not the most fun thing. There's a little bit of fighting, that there's no real flag building, there's no real rallying to my knowledge, there's like small amounts. So Desert Conquest definitely much more of a boring KVK compared to pretty much every other format, and that's why I'd say both Desert Conquest and March of the Ages are deserving of a place on the most useless features list. Coming in at number 6 on the list is the use of the 10 minutes and also the 30-minute rally timers. I mean, the 5 minutes obviously is the shortest, pretty much everyone uses this, and the 8-hour timer is just, well, truly far and away the longest timer, and that's good for keeping track of a city. But I've never ever seen someone use the 30-minute rally timer. I've actually never ever seen it. And the 10-minute timer is basically never used. I've maybe used it once in a really dead kingdom on a farm alliance to try maybe get someone to join the rally. But once again, realistically, you only ever stick to those 5 minutes and those 8-hour rallies, 8 hours being to track a city and 5 minutes to actually rally something. So I'm not sure why Lilith added a 10-minute and a 30-minute rally, because players obviously aren't setting the rallies like this in KVK to time them. That's just too long. And also, if they were to try and send a rally past a 5-minute timer, they just march a troop from a very long distance and pull it out the rally later. So 10-minute timers and 30-minute timers for rallies pretty much make no sense, and I don't really see why Lilith did add these to the game, and they're probably like the biggest thing you would say is just two useless features that no one really uses. If this screen switched to 5 minutes and 8-hour rallies, I don't think anyone would notice, or realistically anyone would actually care, because I don't think I would, and I'm pretty sure most of you guys watching would think, oh, 10-minute and 30-minute rallies are gone, what will we ever do? Now, our next two most useless features come into the Lost Temple itself, and the first one is being able to see the previous king. I guess it's kind of just supposed to be a nice little feature or something, but I don't think it works right. When you look at all the kings here, you'll notice that we've had the multiple of the same king in a row, which doesn't make sense because I can say pretty confidently we've switched our king around quite a bit, but you know what? It just seems that we've switched kings. It's just switched from the same king to the same king before. So this whole entire king system, being able to see which king, I think it maybe resets once every week, but once again, that doesn't really make sense. So it doesn't make sense as to why this is actually in the game. I mean, I'm sure people have looked at it before, but I don't think it actually changes much or does much for the game. So all that's really interesting about this, you can see the first king of the kingdom, but after that, it's completely useless. I don't think I've ever actually opened this and been like, oh, I forgot who our last king was. Let me go and take a look. So this is definitely one of the more useless features in the game. I think it's something Lilith made back in the early days of the game, and they were just like, well, we could delete it, but why not just keep it there? So they've just kept around this whole entire list of every single king that's ever been done inside a kingdom, and often it's just a lot of repeats in a row. So this whole entire kings list doesn't really have a use, but it's just something in the game, I guess. The next thing that I would say is also fairly useless is actually in some ways the exile skill, because I'm pretty sure you can't even use it on you can't use on governors on your same kingdom, and the only time this would be useful is to kick out a rogue player, and the only time that's ever done with this skill is like in Kingsland if someone goes rogue and puts a peace shield on. But realistically, when people go rogue, if they know what they're doing, they're going to hide all their troops somewhere, or they're just not going to care about them, and they won't put a peace shield on, so you can't exile their city. So the exile skill can be kind of useless. Sometimes you can exile someone to build a flag, but again, that's also still kind of useless nowadays with the fact that flags are able to push off people who have shields on. So the exile skill definitely is no longer as useful as it used to be. I think the main reason Lilith made it was to kick people off who were leaving their shielded farms, but people would leave like 100 shielded farms. This is a 72-hour cooldown, so the exile skill not very useful. I mean, the 5% damage increase on their city can be okay, but for the gem cost, it's just not worth it. And it definitely isn't one of the main used king skills. The other skills definitely are much better. You've got tax, which is great. You've got imprison, you've got leader, and you've also got banish, which is pretty much exile, but just better. So exile doesn't really have a use, and I'm not too sure why Lilith did actually make the exile skill. Coming in at number 3 on the most useless features list is the special chest in the daily special offer. This little wooden chest here is actually probably the most useless thing that everybody does. You know why? Because it only gives you 1,000 food and 1,000 wood. It's a really, really small amount. When we look at it, it is pretty much next to nothing. The only reason it's there is to try and entice you to buy the daily special offer. So this could actually be considered a negative. In my opinion, it's something everyone thinks is like slightly valuable, but is completely useless. 1,000 wood and 1,000 food is pretty much nothing. You can get that by just collecting from like your resource collectors inside your city. So for the majority of the time, this resource chest is useless. Even past the first day of playing the game, this chest is just absolutely useless and has no use. I know a few other games, even games made by Lilith, where this chest gives you like a silver key or something. That'd certainly be a lot cooler and definitely slightly more valuable. But 1,000 resources is nothing like a silver key, which can give you some speed ups, it can give you some commander sculptures and some XP. That is always going to be slightly useful throughout the game, but 1,000 resources or 2,000 total definitely is not very valuable and is pretty useless. Coming in at number 2, we are now back into the shop, and this is being able to buy relic coins. Relic coins are something you need in the thousands to use a relic itself. You need a lot of relic coins to do it, and to buy relic coins, they are ridiculously expensive. I just showed you that they're 1,000 gems each, and 100 gems, sorry, and let's say I wanted to get a Xiao Xiao here, it's 18,000 gems for me to get his relic. That's a ridiculous, sorry, no, 180,000 gems. It's a ridiculous number of gems for one relic. No one is ever going to pay that. I wouldn't even buy a single one of these relic coins. And there's a few other things in this shop which don't make sense. For example, there's no point buying talent resets. You can buy them in the Alliance shop. Same thing with name changes. Civilization changes, you get a lot of them for free from events, and you can once again also buy them in the Alliance shop. Some boosts, for example, why would you ever buy the resource boosts in here? You could either buy them from the courier station for just resources or get a discount on them. And then even some other things like the deceptive troops, no one ever uses that. That's another useless feature really on its own. So I guess it's 11 useless features. And then even some other things inside the game that you can just get for free, like 12-hour and 24-hour enhanced defenses. Same thing with attack. Pretty much everyone has hundreds of those inside their inventory. I think I've got close to 1,000 of them combined, just because of how common they are. So there's almost no point in buying those boosts. There's better versions available. There's basically ways to get all of these for free in crazy numbers as well. So a lot of the stuff available inside of just the shop in general is fairly low valuable. Buying resources, buying speed ups, buying boosts, and also buying stuff like relic coins and other things in this shop are literally completely useless, and I don't think anyone would do that, even if they're a whale, unless they're buying maybe relic coins as the biggest whale in the game. Otherwise, you wouldn't even look at these and consider buying them. I don't think Lilith has made $100 of putting the relic coins in here because of everyone knowing it's such poor value. Now, coming in at number 1 on the most useless features list is the fact that you can search for barbarians. I mean, whenever I look at this, I think, what is the point of it besides the super early game where it's pretty much used in the tutorial and used to show you what level barbarian you have to fight. After that, you pretty much just go around and smack any barbarian you see because they're all giving you resources and rewards as well. The difference between a level 25 barb and a level 22 barbarian is literally something like 9,000 resources. It's not a very big number, so no one really goes out of their way to hit the highest level barbarian. Obviously, if you see it, you might go out of your way to hit it, and maybe if it's a level 20 barb compared to a level 25, it's worth it, but you're not really going to go out of your way to search for barbarians on just the open field in general. And then once you hit KVK, it's the same story. You're not going to go out of your way to search barbarians. And the second you've finished your first KVK and you can kill level 55 barbs, this whole entire search menu is completely useless and you'll never even have to open it again. And the same thing can be said for some of the resource things here, especially in Imperium Kingdoms. I still find these resource searches like pretty useful, but I know a lot of people in Imperium Kingdoms say it's literally useless for us because our kingdoms are so big. When we go to search for resources, it says there's just nothing nearby. So that can definitely be the case with the resource search itself. I still think it's got its uses. For me personally, I actually do use it because my kingdom is not as big, but Imperium Kingdoms say it's completely useless. But something that wouldn't be useless here is the ability to search Barbarian forts, but I don't think that's ever going to come to the game. So Barbarians, searching for them, pretty much completely useless, and I don't understand why it's in the game. If anything, they should just remove it to stop people from doing stuff such as bot farming Barbarians. That's the main reason Barb forts aren't on here, and people can bot farm Barbs because you can search them. So if they remove this search, if anything, it'd probably be an upgrade to the game because of how useless it is, and the way people can actually take advantage of it to do stuff like macro farming Barbarians to give themselves an unfair advantage in the game. So Barb searching, pretty much a useless thing that actually does lead to a lot of botting in Rise of Kingdoms. So now that we've made it to the end of today's video, I just want to ask you guys for a very small favor, and that is consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. I upload as much Rise of Kingdoms content as I can, and I try to come up with creative and exciting new ideas. So if people subscribe to the channel, I get the vibe if they like this video or if they don't. So if you like this video, if you like content like this, do consider subscribing. Your subscription always helps, and it is very much appreciated. And keep in mind, you can always take it back if you find out that you absolutely hate me. Now, I just want to say thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.